Hi, so I'm going to discuss here how we can think about building an account-based marketing strategy and more particularly a specific campaign. So for this example, let's assume that I'm selling an enterprise CRM solution. I want to target sales leaders at the enterprise level in the financial services category in the United States. So there's a couple channels, there's a couple things that I'm going to think about as part of my program. So of course, part of any good campaign is identifying and selecting your target audience. And again, you need to be very intentional and very specific about kind of each account-based marketing campaign. So I would treat enterprise sales leaders maybe differently than I would treat lower middle market sales leaders, or I would treat enterprise sales leaders different than I would treat their technology leaders or their marketing leaders. And again, you isolate your audience to that degree, because what comes next is how you think about messaging. And if you're obviously a member of Apex Collective, which you are if you're watching this video, you go back into our buyer persona, our messaging workshops, and you start to tackle the messaging in particular, specifically to this campaign. So the first process is we got to target and identify our audience. The second part of that is we got to really understand intimately the common headwinds, the pain points, the frustration that this target market is experiencing, because all of our messaging, whether it's marketing, ad, or sales messaging, is going to revolve around those common headwinds that we believe we're uniquely positioned to solve as part of our strategy. So I've checked boxes 1 and 2. The next thing is I got to figure out how to reach this audience, right? So I go to LinkedIn and I've recorded this video on how to kind of build an email database, but also Sales Navigator gives me a good idea of like what my projected audience might be. And again, not everyone who I want to target is going to be on LinkedIn, but it's a good start in terms of who and how many people I can target. So I plugged in my world enterprise, you have to be a company of 5,000 or above, which is on the left side. You've got to be in the United States, financial services industry. And I want those sales leaders. And what that delivers is about 6,500 results. So as I've recorded in my Wizza and LinkedIn list building video, my first start is I'm going to export these leads. I'm going to build a database. I can use that database in a variety of ways, and I'll talk about kind of how to piece these tactics together here in a second. But now I've got the data as well, and I know I can target this audience on LinkedIn. So here's a couple different campaigns that I would run as part of this program. And again, I'm not going to design the ads as part of this, but I'll talk to you about the different tactics. So tactic 1 could be, I'm going to run a LinkedIn ad campaign, right? I'm going to create inside of LinkedIn a targeted ad campaign directly to this audience that I plug in the back of our ads manager. And I create a variety of different ads to test messaging, to test some visuals. Those could be static images. Those could be video ads, right? And I'll use maybe Canva to kind of quickly design some of those if I don't have a deep design depth or I don't have a design team to help me with that. But now I've got a LinkedIn advertising campaign. So I'm hitting those people on LinkedIn. Let's assume the next thing that I need to do as part of this campaign is if anyone gets to a specific page on my website, which I highly recommend you're either building a landing page or your website has a dedicated page both to the industry. So again, this is just an example. You'd have a financial services page. You'd also talk to sales leaders of those financial services page. You develop a landing page. You can walk through our Apex Collective video on that. But now I'm sending people to a specific page. So I built a landing page. I've got a LinkedIn ad campaign going. Let's assume that people get to this page, but they don't convert. Well, I want to track them around the internet with a remarketing campaign. So a good example of this is, let's say they go somewhere, they're browsing the internet, they're looking up, their fantasy football, whatever it might be. I want our remarketing ads to start showing. I want to stay top of mind. I know this is a long sales cycle as part of our program. So now I've got LinkedIn ads, remarketing running. Maybe the next strategy I do, take a segmented list, is I use a platform like Sendoso and I send a direct mailer, right? Part of marketing and sales in today's world is try to sift and differentiate yourself from all the noise. Well, now I'm hitting them via direct mail. Maybe I'll follow up as part of that. And I'm working with sales to say, hey, we just sent a direct mailer to these top 50 targets inside of our campaign. And all of a sudden now I'm trying to get a conversation started. If I have that email database, all of a sudden I'm doing an email newsletter. So I got landing page, LinkedIn ads, direct mail, retargeting ads, an email newsletter. All of that, right, is kind of reaching this hyper-targeted audience with very specific and personalized messaging on how we can help them. The next thing that I would do is I'd work with sales to run a targeted sequential outreach program. So this is more one-to-one kind of hand-to-hand combat. So they're seeing all of our kind of marketing activity going on, but now in parallel, our sales development reps, our sales development team, and usually I would activate this about 15 to 30 days once you've got the other marketing campaigns going, is now sales is reaching out via structured email outreach, phone calls. Again, the goal here is obviously to align marketing and sales to get a conversation started. So I've got all of those. And again, there's more tactics, but I'll kind of bundle it up into something a little bit more simple here for the context of this campaign. I've got all of that activity going. So what do I need to do next? Well, there's a couple things. Number one, it's collaboration. So I've got to have recurring meetings with marketing leadership and sales leadership to go through the reports and the insights of what we're learning, both on the marketing lens, who we're reaching, who's clicking, who's hit the landing page, have any form fills been created, have any requested demos been created. Then conversely on the sales side, hey, with our outreach, have any conversations been started, right? Is there anyone who's actually in the funnel now that we can view inside of our pipeline? And I might want to do a couple other things as part of this, right? Maybe we're lead scoring these individuals based on their intent. And you can use HubSpot's platform to do some lead scoring based on the activity that someone's taken both on the sales front and the marketing front at the prospect level. And so you might say, okay, of all of the activity that's going on, these are the warmest or warmer leads based on how many clicks, how many impressions, how many visits to a specific page on the website to help prioritize the outreach campaign. Again, these campaigns can be very long. Usually the goal or part of the goal of an account-based marketing campaign is these are high average deal size, massive customer lifetime value, where you can make the investment into running something a little bit more structured, a little bit more targeted as part of that outreach. But the big thing here is as these go, you've got to communicate, you've got to get with marketing and sales leadership, and then you've got to have a platform that kind of aggregates all that information. And for us, HubSpot's a powerful driver. HubSpot has an account-based marketing drop-down and section that allows you to tag these key accounts, track the activity both on a marketing lens to give leadership that quick visibility. So you can piece this stuff together, right? There are a lot of platforms out there that you can do a lot of account-based marketing, but they're very expensive, right? You're 5, 6, 10 grand in the hole just for the software. Or you can do what I do, which is you kind of Frankenstein this together with the little bits and pieces and the platforms and the tools that we share in Apex Collective to get a conversation started and to test if you really need to make an investment in one of those platforms at the end of the day. What I don't want you to do, buy one of these account-based marketing platforms and you don't see any good results from it and you've spent a lot of money and you've not seen a good ROI. So the idea behind an account-based marketing campaign and how you build it is think of your target audience, develop the messaging, look at the landing page, develop the outreach campaigns, build your databases, and then coordinate with marketing and sales to have really good conversations on the efficacy of these campaigns. Thanks.